We are straight away moving into the fireside chat. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening we're very honored, we're deeply honored to have with us Honorable Secretary Government of Union Territory Puducherry, Ms. Padma Jaiswal IS. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you all to kindly put your hands together as I request our honorable guest for our fireside chat to kindly join us onto the stage. And I also request Mr. Atul Kumar to join us back onto the stage, escorting Ms. Padma Jaiswal, Honorable Secretary, Government of Union Territory of Puducherry, Government of India, to join us. Once again, requesting everyone to kindly stay back and kindly continue to keep your mobile phones on silent mode. Please put your hands together as we now invite Honorable Secretary Ma'am, who is climbing onto the stage and joining us for a fireside chat, requesting Mr. Atul Kumar to kindly join us for strengthening cyber security posture and preparedness of states. May I request Mr. Atul Kumar to kindly take over. Over to you, Mr. Kumar.
So good evening once again. So it's talking from the global cooperation. Now let's look at how we are doing and strengthening the ecosystem at our domestic level. And here we have Ms. Padma from the state of Union Territory of Puducherry. We are going to look at how at a state level or a union territory level, we are strengthening the cybersecurity posture and taking diverse set of initiatives, which is actually leading to strengthen the larger cybersecurity posture of the national, at a national level, and then contributing back to our strengthening brand image at the global level. So that's the intent behind this session. Initiatives like setting up some sort of policies to having some initiatives around skilling, or how are we, sorry, how are we looking at the public-private partnership, and so on and so forth. So we are going to look at all those diverse perspectives. To start with, I'll request ma'am to give your vision. And just to give you a background, she used to be in different union territories, and even as IT Secretary of the Union Territories. So she has quite a diverse background, and she has taken a lot of initiatives to strengthen those ecosystems. So here I would like to hear your experiences and your vision. How do you see the Union Territories should look at, and the state should look at, not just Puducherry, you can definitely take examples of that, but yeah, largely how they should learn with your experience and strengthen the posture.
Good evening to everyone, and thank you, Mr. Atul, for inviting me here and to discuss about cybersecurity in the states and union territories. In India, we are having diverse states, and I have worked in states as well as in union territories. I have worked previously in Goa and then Delhi, and also in Arunachal Pradesh, and now I'm working as Secretary to Government in the Government of Puducherry. So as I have held the capacities of IT Secretary also, and from that perspective and experience, I will just like to share my viewpoints regarding there is always a coordination between center and state when it comes to cybersecurity, and when cybersecurity is getting so important in India, because most of our transaction or most of our assets, they have already been shifted to the digital space. And when we are shifting the assets to the digital space, whether it's come to the, whether it is in the field of education or health, or it is in the field of financial infrastructure, it is also more important that we should protect the assets, those assets and those information which is lying in the digital space. And so therefore, in center, we have a very full-fledged, elaborate institutions and policies regarding cybersecurity. But when it comes to state, it differs from the policies of the various governments who are governing the structure of the state and who are at the helm of the affairs. So likewise, many states, they are at the forefront of the cybersecurity policy, whereas there are the other states which are totally, dependent on the union government for their cybersecurity, assets. And at the same time, then the union territories are there, which are also, like navigating the cybersecurity domain in one form or the other. So I would say that in some states, they are even navigating the cybersecurity with the help of, public-private partnerships. Whereas in the other, they are totally, depending upon their own in-house institution, maybe NIC or some other government enterprise. So they are not complicated as much, and still, like it all depends upon the number of economic activities that takes place. For example, I will take the example of Maharashtra, which is very well ahead when it comes to cybersecurity. They are utilizing artificial intelligence also in their cybersecurity space, and they have got a very elaborate infrastructure. So because it all depends upon the development of the state also, and then the literacy level, digital literacy level of the people of the state. And then I would also like to name certain other states like Telangana and like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, which is a front runner, and they have even set up the Cyber Dome. The project's called Cyber Dome, which is, initiative which is housing all kind of startups and all kind of problem solving aspects. So likewise, this is the situation on the ground.
Definitely, thanks for those inputs. And at Puducherry level, I think you are already collaborating with the central institutions like I4C, even academic institutions like Rashtriya Raksha University, and so on and so forth. So those things I have seen that the Union Territory is already collaborating, and that's the actual example of what you just said. Actually, in India, if you see, a lot of things are happening at the central level in terms of regulations, policies, and laws, and that's percolating to the states. And here, if we take those benefits of those capabilities and institutions being established at the national level, is going to add tremendous value. But picking up from there, at the central level, even if you are picking up those benefits of those institutions, a lot of things are happening at the state level, like for the digital and financial inclusion, a lot of initiatives are there. States are experimenting a lot on innovation, the overall digitization footprint that is expanding. How do you see, and what could be the strategy to establish a balance between those innovation as well as safety and security of the people who could be not so digitally savvy and so digitally literate, but they are leveraging the technology in one way or other? So what?
Yes, this is a very relevant question, that we are trying to leverage the AI and AI-based services. And there is a lot of excitement around it, that yes, because we are able to scale, we are able to, reach the last mile connectivity, and then the speed and, the accuracy with which we are able to, do the transaction and implement our social welfare schemes and programs in the government. So there is so much of excitement around it, the way it is being implemented, but at the same time, we don't see the kind of, hidden cost that we are paying, that we have to be very mindful about the cybersecurity elements also. So this is a very, relevant point, that because India has really scaled, and it has made a very rapid strides when it comes to, marching towards the setting up of digital public infrastructure. First of all, it comes that UPI. UPI is where the financial transactions are taking place in millions throughout the day, and everybody is on the, UPI. Everybody is doing the banking transaction or other kind of insurance, taking loans, other activities relating to financial terms in nature on the basis of this UPI transaction. So, but then we are not mindful about the risks, and this is what is being exploited by the bad actors or the bad guys, which are all prevalent around us. So what they are doing is that they are using various tools, like phishing tools are there, setting up a malware or maybe ransomware, and then through this social engineering, which is very much prominent with the coming of this generative AI and large language models. So these large language models, now these bad actors can be very much versatile, and they can be very skillful in behaving and making an action or making a kind of strategy which looks like which has been generated in a local manner. They can speak local language. They can speak in the accent of an age group of a person. So likewise, they are coming out with various tools, like digital arrest is one of the recent phenomena, where people have been made to believe that they are digitally arrested in their own homes, and now they are and so many people, so many literate people, they have paid the amount to get themselves free from that digital arrest, whereas in law this is a fictitious concept. So likewise, social psychology, the strategies which are being evolved and which are being generated through the help of these large language models, they are coming. So it is also very much incumbent upon the government that reaching out reaching out to the people, so in form of social outreach programs, so that to make them more aware, especially to these vulnerable groups, like, women, old age people, the differently abled people, so who are not that much smooth with the tools and softwares. So they should, through these outreach programs, more and more awareness is being generated through capacity building and through training programs. So likewise, these things are happening on the ground.
Sure, thanks. And I'll come back to this point of outreach and creating the skills and awareness in the ecosystem. But before that, I know you are a big proponent of security by design and privacy by design approach. How do you suggest like a state can imbibe that, or a union territory can imbibe that in the larger initiatives they are taking?
Because with the evolution of these all data crunching technologies, and initially we were using the technologies only at the enterprise level, and we were just trying to automate something, and we were trying to become autonomous only at the enterprise level. But now when the government is not only going for the governance or going for kind of management of its resources at the enterprise level, it has made the outreach to the people in the form of implementation of schemes and programs. Now the government is delivering those schemes and programs in all the sectors with the help of these AI technologies, with the help of these connectivity, maybe 5G or 4G, which has already been rolled out in the government. So when all the gadgets of the people, they are connecting the outside gadgets of outside machines, they are getting connected with the enterprise machine. So the attack surface is increased. Right. So because of these, and moreover so many other these machines which have been installed as a part of smart city projects. So therefore these IoT devices which are coming into play. So we can see that the attack surface has really widened, and one of the panelists in your previous session, they have mentioned that we are as strong as our weakest link. So when the weakest links, they are latched on to our like machines and our structures. So what happens is that we are able to get some kind of like maybe viruses or some kind of vulnerabilities from the other instruments. So which makes it more vulnerable, and which makes it all the more important that we should go towards the cybersecurity. For that we have made the authentication important. Two-way authentication is there, and then we have done some patchwork. We have created firewalls. We have taken adopted encryptions, and so likewise. So now since we have gone towards another step, that we are now using artificial intelligence into our cybersecurity domain, because like initially what happened, that cybersecurity was just an afterthought. We were just trying to see that after we have installed everything, we will take a software or we will take a package and we will just manage our cybersecurity, our firewalls. We will install a firewalls and we will manage through all that thing through our SOC analysis, security operations control system. The SOC analyst will sit in the control room and they will manage all the alerts. But now it is not like that. We have to move from detection and response towards prediction and prevention, because prevention is the key, because the technology have really taken a lot of huge strides in its own evolution, in its development, and so therefore we have to integrate the AI into our cybersecurity mechanism. So when we were having some private sector, they will come and they will give the presentation of their cybersecurity solutions to us. So we always discuss with them that it should be the part of the coding stage. So when the coding of a particular software or an application is taking place, cybersecurity should be integrated from that level, from the design level, and not at the level when it is being tested. Okay, and then it's been tested and it is accepted. So it should be at the design level and not, it should be just an afterthought. So, and then, I would also like to mention here about the privacy that you had mentioned. Now, the privacy is very important, and it is becoming very important since we are talking about integrating artificial intelligence with that of our cybersecurity instruments. Because we are using this data, which is having the foundational models towards the cybersecurity. So, but then consensus of the data, that whose data are we using? Yeah. And so it becomes very important. And recently, Government of India, they have even, cleared, the Parliament has passed a legislation, DPDP Act, Data Protection Bill. And, I think the private sector should be very mindful of that, because they are the solution providers to the government and to everyone, that they should really read properly the provisions of these DPDP Act, because there are very stringent norms, and ignorance is not an excuse, for non-compliance. So this act, I think one workshop workshop should also be, conducted out of this for generating the awareness about this DPDP Act, which is so important. So privacy becomes very more important when we are implementing these data crunching technologies.
Sure, thank you, ma'am. And actually, in this annual summit, we are having a full track on focusing on the privacy and the policy side. So that sub-summit is also going on. So people are leveraging that knowledge sharing as well. But yeah, definitely, I totally agree with you. We should look at how can we predict the attacks and proactively be ready for that. And that's why we are continuously now talking about resilience-based security. It's not even now a real-time management of security. Now we are moving forward from there and saying it should be resilient enough. If something goes wrong, we should be prepared enough to bounce back quickly and address those kind of situation and scenarios. Here, one aspect is definitely technology, but at the same time, the kind of reflection that comes with a leadership support. And here I understand in case of Puducherry, you have a director level person who is a CISO, appointed as a CISO, and taking the lead in preparing from the cybersecurity point of view. So in terms of having a CISO is greatest step, but then building a capacity in the government level, that's also one of the important things. So what is your view? How can we enhance that level of awareness, level of education and the skill set at the government level? And how can we leverage this emerging tech like AI and generative AI to enhance those kind of reach?
Yes. So as we're talking about artificial intelligence, generative AI, these foundational models which have come into picture, and like large language models, we are leveraging all these things, towards making predictions, and also towards, making all the smart city projects in bringing out various innovations and various kind of other creative solutions. We are leveraging all that, and not any time, we have been so much, fortunate enough to have the cybersecurity solutions which were more effective, because now that we are having the power of all these models, all these technologies that we are having, because we are having the power of data with us, the data that we can correlate, because initially we were having this, we were just doing the patchwork. The patchwork was the major, solution which was been given for the cybersecurity applications, that we had to develop more and more patches depending upon the vulnerabilities. Okay, and this is how we are going to detect our threats, and we would hunt for the threats. But now it is not like that, and maybe we have moved a step forward ahead from that. And what we are now doing is that we are trying to correlate the data. The correlating and integrating the data, it is now because of that we are able to defend ourselves, and we are having this as a defender's advantage, I would say, that to repel any kind of these attacks which are made on us. And so therefore, like what we have moved from a very isolated system to that of an integrated system. Now what we were having previously is that we were having a specific cybersecurity solution for the software, and different for the web, different for the network. Everything was very different. Okay, and so we were just doing sort of like detecting, and we were just making a response out of it because of the alerts which were being generated. But now because of this integrated solution, if we get any kind of click on the malware which is malicious, it will kind of generate an alert which will be alerted equally in all the softwares. And when the alerts are being generated in all the kind of softwares, it will create a major threat. It will give a picture that a major kind of a threat has been generated, and we will be able to develop a good prevention out of it, and or a good response out of it. So we are moving towards the integrated, solutions and softwares and applications, instead of an isolated solutions.
Sure, thanks. And now I see the times of message. I'll quickly move to last two questions, I'll say, and I'll request your quick response on that. One is the public-private partnership, and in India is quite a big proponent of public-private partnership. As you have also mentioned that most of those government initiatives, industry is coming along and supporting in executing those initiatives. So it's like jointly we are doing a lot of those work, whether it's turnkey projects or some local initiatives. The industry and government are coming together and running those things. Sorry. How do you see the public-private partnership is taking shape at the state or union territory level? And I'll attach my last question with this as well. Here you have the innovators technology firms, user enterprises. It's like provider, users, policymakers, everyone is present over here. What would be your message? How can we come along and strengthen the cybersecurity posture of the nation while working at the state and the ground level?
Yes, this question is more relevant to the Viksit Bharat goals, vision and mission, which our Honorable Prime Minister has, has for the country, that, by 2030 we will reach the 30 trillion economy. And this, it has been envisaged that the mission through which we will going to achieve this vision is that through the public-private partnership. And because, because with the help of artificial intelligence, we are going to achieve this 30 trillion economy, the modalities of it is that, without the participation of the private sector, this will not be able to accomplish. Because private sector brings with itself the kind of skills, the expertise, and the various kinds of other investments which is required. Now, as we have been already, these are very capital intensive technologies. Now, these are the various technologies which requires lot of updation and lot of transformation and lot of transition, because it is being changing very rapidly. So therefore, we need to keep ourselves updating about the latest if we want to keep pace with the environment and our surroundings and with the development and growth. So therefore, the participation of private sector is very important. Now, whole throughout the world, we have seen that the participation of startups and participation of these private entities and voluntary organizations, or even the NGOs, into the domain of cybersecurity, into the domain of various activities of the government. Partnership is the key. Firstly, because it is very capital intensive, it requires lot of skills, and because, as the previous panel, they were also mentioning that we are also moving towards open source. Now, open source is the need of the hour, because we first of all, we have to connect with lot of stakeholders, lot of actors in the chain from the outside world, and then these technologies are very much, data crunching technologies, that we need to share data from each other. And therefore, we also, and more diverse and more inclusive we are able to come out with a solution more effectively. Because this is the main reason, why certain AI applications are not successful, because they do not include the inclusive and diverse data. They are not formed because of the inclusive and diverse data, the data about women, the data of marginalized people in the society, and the data about, these other stakeholders of the chain, that is absent from there. So that is why these data crunching technology are not able to, work to its optimal level. So therefore, to make it more effective, we have to, incorporate, if we want to make our data more effective, if we want to move towards data governance, we want to make it more validated, we want to make it more, it should be having more integrity, then it should be very diverse, it should be more inclusive, so that our applications are more effective and efficient. So therefore, the participation of all the stakeholders or actors in the chain is equally important if we want to make our applications very effective. Yes.
That's great. So again, in crux, if I say collaboration is the key again, and all the stakeholders has to come together to contribute their bit, and only then we'll be able to achieve the larger objective of this Viksit Bharat, as well as the digital economy that we are looking at, and a very secure, safe and trusted economy where everyone, irrespective of their background, literacy level and the financial level, they will be part of that ecosystem and getting benefit of those initiatives and the whole ecosystem, I'll say. With this, I'll stop here, and as I'm seeing the message twice, but thanks a lot, ma'am, for joining us for this conversation. Definitely we will need a larger time frame to deliberate more on this. Probably we'll set up that maybe in the next forum, and we'll further discuss and double click all those aspects that you have touched upon. But thanks for sharing your insights, really helpful for the ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you so much on that very positive note. Yes, collaboration is the key. Thank you once again, Honorable Secretary Ma'am. Thank you so much, Mr. Atul Kumar. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the organizing team, we thank Honorable Secretary Ma'am, and we like to present a memento and make this moment a little more memorable. May I request Mr. Atul Kumar to kindly present a memento to Honorable Secretary of the Union Territory of Puducherry, Government of India, Ms. Padma Jaiswal IS. Thank you so much, ma'am. Once again, a heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Secretary Ma'am.